Now the pilot is taking Boeing to court over it. We'll hear why.
A new era for Venezuelans.
We are happy about it. We are from Venezuela. What do you expect?
As ousted leader Nicolas Maduro faces charges in a New York court, we hear from local Venezuelans about what this means for their family and for their people.
Homeless shelters shut down. Why the county says it's closing 2 of them, as we hear from a man who is now worried he won't have a place to go. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on the 10 o'clock news. I'm Pete Ferryman.
And I'm Rielle Creighton. First tonight, 2 homeless shelters are set to close in Multnomah County. And those who rely on both shelters, most are on edge about what is next.
Fox 12's Michaela Armstrong spoke to one man who says the shelter was a step up, and now this could set him back.
This is one of the shelters that will soon be closed in March, and one man we spoke to says he just started staying at the shelter only weeks ago, and now the closure could force him back onto the streets.
I just heard about it from one of the guys inside today. I had no clue.
Jim Robinson says he is in shock now that he knows time is ticking for him and others at 2 Multnomah County homeless shelters, Y East and Market Street.
It's pretty rough because, every time I, turn around going, oh, there's programs for this, there's programs for that. And then you go to talk to the people that, trying to run these programs, and everything's getting shut down.
Robinson says he just got into Y East a few weeks ago and says it is a major move up from the streets and other shelters he has stayed at before.
Beds are full every night. This place is on a waiting list. I'm a vet, and it still took me a week to get in.
According to the county, both shelters were facing closures, not because of performance issues, but they were not viable long term. So as a part of the 2025 to 2026 budget process last spring, the board voted unanimously to fund both shelters only through March of this year. And instead, the board was able to fund supportive housing for hundreds. But Robinson says this decision isn't in the best interest of those who rely on these shelters.
It's kind of shaking everybody up because nobody knows where they're going to go or what they're going to do. You just have more people on the street. You're not getting them in housing. They're nowhere else to go.
And now he says the move could force him back on the streets yet again.
I don't know, because I don't know where in the hell I'll go. I'm trying to hope and find housing before then, but I don't know.
The county did tell us when closing any shelter, the Homeless Services Department works to transition guests into housing or other shelters. In Southeast Portland, Michaela Armstrong, Fox 12 Oregon.
The fact that he is being arraigned in a court in New York in the Southern District is a sign that the DOJ believes that this case has great merit.
A historic arraignment today in New York as deposed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro faced a federal judge. He entered a not guilty plea to charges he allegedly oversaw an illegal drug network that trafficked cocaine to the United States. Legal experts have questioned whether the U.S. operation to seize Maduro violated international law. But with the case being tried on U.S. soil, that may not matter. Top lawmakers were briefed on Capitol Hill, with Democrats pressing the White House for answers. The Trump administration insists it's following all the proper protocols. Maduro will be back in court on March 17th. Meantime, the U.S. intervention in Venezuela has been met with mixed reactions across the country and right here in Portland.
Fox 12's Julia Lopez spoke with a family who owns a local restaurant. They say while they know what's unfolding in the country is complicated, they believe life could become safer for their loved ones in Venezuela with Maduro now gone.
We are happy about it. We are from Venezuela. What do you expect?
Veronica Gutierrez is celebrating. Born in Venezuela, she and her family fled political unrest in 2005. 5 years later, her parents opened La Arepa in Portland.
It's just a way for us to share our roots through food.
Now Veronica says she's sharing her voice for her family and friends in Venezuela who can't.
They're happy, they are hopeful, but at the same time they are concerned about not posting a lot, about not talking a lot about it, because again, there's still criminals in power.
Since Maduro's arrest early Saturday morning, Veronica says she's tried to break through the noise.
I have had people trying to educate me about my own history, which is nonsense.
She says there's no easy answer in a situation that's been unfolding for decades in her home country.
I understand the point of view of some people, right, that there's a low issue in this situation, but that do not diminish the fact that Maduro is a tyrant, a dictator.
Veronica says life under Maduro became unbearable for her family, unable to leave.
You know, who can live with $30 per month? Who can live without power? Who can live without being able to talk freely in the streets because you can be taken to jail? Who can be happy in that matter, having people who can mark your house because you are against the government? Who can be happy with people who are stolen the elections every time?
Amid uncertainty, Veronica hopes Venezuelans can choose what comes next.
All political prisoners must be freed, and that is a fact. We all have to recognize the good and the bad, and we all have to work towards one common sense. And here, the common sense is that a dictator is out, is in prison, he deserves it, and Venezuelans are happy about it, and now we are agree with all the steps of this transition.
Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.
Tonight, a mother who was on the run after being accused of a deadly DUI crash is back in custody. Multnomah County prosecutors say 29-year-old Angelina Leticia Minor had a felony warrant for first-degree manslaughter. The charge stems from a March 2024 crash where authorities say Minor was allegedly driving under the influence and her 4-year-old son was killed. Officials say Minor violated her supervised release, leading the court to issue the arrest warrant.
A Polk County man has pled guilty in a deadly 2025 shooting. It happened last January. 44-year-old Tyler Holman entered a guilty plea to second-degree murder with a firearm in the death of his ex-girlfriend, Ashley Jean Gandolfi. Other charges will be dismissed under the plea agreement. Holman was arrested last year after Gandolfi's body was found when he crashed her car while allegedly intoxicated. Authorities later found her death was not caused by that crash. Holman is set to be sentenced on January 14th.
An overnight standoff in Tigard ended with a home on fire and a man in custody. Deputies say the man started setting fires inside the home, likely to keep authorities from coming in. Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue responded to the scene to try to keep the flames contained. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says they had canines, drones, armored trucks, and the tactical negotiations team on the scene trying to get the man out. Authorities even used armored cars to try to pry a door off from the home and make contact with the man. Eventually, just before 6 a.m., deputies finally got him out of the home by pulling him through a window.
I can tell you that the suspect didn't want to come out, and perhaps in his own mind that was his idea of keeping us from coming in.
Afterwards, the man received medical attention on the scene. Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue says he was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The suspect has not been identified, but we know that he did already have a felony warrant, and now he's facing arson and domestic harassment charges.
The pilot of a passenger jet that made an emergency landing in Portland after a door plug blew out mid-flight is now suing Boeing for $10 million. The complaint was filed in Multnomah County by Brandon Fisher. He was flying the 737 MAX that experienced that explosive decompression shortly after takeoff from PDX on January 5th of 2024, 2 years ago today. According to the lawsuit, Fisher and his co-pilot successfully returned to PDX, and everyone on the flight did survive despite all of the chaos. But instead of praise, the lawsuit says that Boeing attempted to shift blame, claiming that Fisher and the first officer made mistakes that contributed to the incident. The NTSB says that Boeing was at fault after it failed to make sure that the door plug was properly installed. Fisher, who lives in Vancouver, says that the incident caused emotional distress and affected his quality of life. Boeing has not commented on the lawsuit.
The legal saga around President Trump sending troops to Portland is officially over. This morning, the federal judge in the case suspended all remaining legal claims. The move comes after Trump announced last week that he would end his push to deploy federalized National Guard troops to Portland, Los Angeles, and Chicago. There are still 100 Oregon Guard soldiers who are federalized. The Oregon Military Department says they do not have a timeline for when those troops will demobilize and return to civilian life.
Okay, a live look outside now from our Portland Shriners Hospital camera, and I've been out there, and it is quite nice right now outside tonight. It's dry and, you know, reasonably comfortable. Yeah, things they are a changing.
Nice and dry.
not just the times, the weather too is a changing.
Yeah, and the sunglasses tomorrow.
Okay.
Don't
I'll stash them away from today.
Just for one day. We might get some sun breaks Wednesday, but not tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a wet day, but I don't see a huge soaker early in the day. Okay, so maybe the morning commute, all quiet. There we go. I'm trying to spin it positive. Look at that sunset, by the way. And then you see all the fishing boats. Clearly, yeah, fishing season is on. Wow. Must be dozens and dozens of them out there offshore. Good weather for that, at least this evening. All right, so yeah, it's comfortable, although it's getting down in the 30s at this hour, 38 degrees. I don't expect widespread freezing tonight because we have cloud cover approaching. We'll be down in the mid-30s, but look how quickly these clouds are moving towards us. Here we are, and really fast-moving jet stream here the last 24 hours. There's an approaching weather system here, and actually there's a lot of chilly air behind it up to the northwest. So here's a first alert for you. Yeah, the second part of tomorrow, especially in the evening at the end of the commute, looking really wet, just not fun. Gusty south wind. The light rain starts soon after the morning commute, so the morning commute dry. Could be briefly heavy, maybe 6 or 7 p.m. That's a big question mark there. Then showers are going to be coming and going Wednesday. Wednesday is one of those on again, off again, cool winter shower days where you have maybe some hail or graupel mixed in. If you live above 1,500 feet, there could be brief sticking snow, I suppose, up at that elevation. That's not in the metro area. All right, so tomorrow morning, could it be dry to start? Maybe. Then we know at 1 p.m. it's pretty wet, and snow is coming back to the Cascades, and you see the little heavier stuff about 5 p.m. tomorrow. All right, so morning commute, cloudy, dry, calm. Beyond that, the rest of the day, it's just rainy all day long. The rain's pretty light through 1 or 2 p.m., I believe. The other thing is gusty southerly wind, not strong, but gusts 20 to 30 from midday all the way until about 8 p.m. A cold front passes through here, and that's when the wind dies down. This time tomorrow evening, the wind's pretty quiet. But again, temperatures only peak around 47 degrees, pretty average for this time of the year. I've highlighted 6 or 7 p.m. for maybe a little heavier rainfall. Now, we do have a first alert weather day for the Cascades for late tomorrow, and then into Wednesday, finally, not just a foot of snow, but like this much snow. So we'll talk about the amounts and what that means for driving over the mountains and skiing too, of course, coming up in my first alert forecast.
The 10 o'clock news is just getting started.
A devastating fire left behind little for a local family. How they're trying to move forward with support from the community.
A major shift in childhood vaccinations, how the U.S. is cutting back on recommended shots, and why some local experts are worried about the change. A Hillsborough family is sharing their story about losing their home and much more in a devastating fire over the weekend.
Almost the entire home has been damaged. Just a few belongings were left behind. The woman and her mom made it out along with their 2 dogs, but 4 other pets, unfortunately, were not able to escape.
Fox 12's McKenna Marks has the story.
27 years I've been alive. This has been my home. At least we have a couple of our fur babies.
Savannah Tidwell, her mom, and their 6 pets lived in their family home on Sunrise Lane in Hillsborough. But everything changed on Saturday night when the house suddenly caught on fire.
I fell asleep, and next thing I know, I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I opened my eyes. The whole top part of my room was filled with black, thick smoke.
Tidwell escaped through her bedroom window without any serious injuries. Her mom made it out too, but had to go to the hospital for treatment.
Dozy, you're okay.
2 of Tidwell's dogs were able to escape the fire, but the other 4 pets, 3 dogs and a cat, did not.
Honestly, I just was in shock. I still kind of am. Like, everything that we've ever known is kind of gone.
Even Tidwell's car that was parked in the driveway was damaged from the fire.
Good car. Good car.
Now, the only things left are a few personal mementos, like these Christmas ornaments.
My grandma gets us one of these each year, so that's kind of nice that they aren't actually broken completely.
Since the fire, Tidwell tells me she's been staying with friends and her mom has been staying with family. She says it's still not clear if they'll be able to rebuild, but in the meantime, Tidwell says she's thankful to have such a supportive community.
I've never had so many people come together, not just for me, but my family, and offer all sorts of supports and places to stay, clothes, food. It brings a little bit like more warmth back to the world. It doesn't feel so bad sometimes.
McKenna Marks, Fox 12 Oregon.
Well, according to the Hillsborough Fire and Rescue Department, the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Tidwell also wanted to thank a local community member, Brian Dawson, who helped rescue them from the fire. One of Tidwell's friends has started a GoFundMe to help her and her mom get back on their feet. You can learn more about that through the Fox 12 app.
The chair of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners has died. We've learned that Chair Claire Hall died yesterday after a brief illness. She served as a Lincoln County Commissioner for over 20 years. The county said that during her tenure, she expanded health care services, increased access and services for veterans, and was a tireless advocate for affordable housing. Chair Hall was facing a recall election this Friday due to misconduct. That election has now been canceled.
Good news for skiers and snowboarders tonight. Mount Hood Meadows opened today after suspending operations over the weekend due to a lack of snow. At least 5 of its lifts were running today. This comes after warm temperatures and limited snowfall last month forced some of the resorts to push their opening dates back nearly a month, with Meadows finally opening on December 23rd, one of its latest openings on record. Meadows says the groomed snow surface is packed powder over hard pack. Off the groomed snow, there is a thin layer of fresh snow over a thin base, they say. The resort is urging people to stay on the groomed snow for now and watch for unmarked obstacles both on and off the groomed snow. Also, they say you should check your speed in these conditions.
Speed on the mountain.
They mean on the mountain.
Yes.
They mean driving or heading down the slope.
Now, heading down the slopes, you know, it's interesting. You're a skier too, Mark, but you know, sometimes, you know, with the helmets now and the parabox skis, the shape skis, you can get going pretty darn fast. You know, I see people like, wait a minute, you know, slow down.
Except I'm getting older now. They're passing me more often.
Yeah, I know.
Wait,
I know.
Oh, it's just a kid.
I'm speaking to myself.
Yeah,
I tend to ski too fast.
But yeah, snow condition. I mean, this is terrible. I mean,
yeah.
All of Oregon, every single basin in Oregon, the amount of water in the snowpack extremely low. Some of these areas are at record lows, like in the Mount Hood area. Is this bad? Yeah, it's the worst on record in some spots, but there's plenty of time to catch up. Many years we have seen a sudden change late in January, even in February, and we end up near normal by the time we get to early April. So we do know in this first half of January, there's only going to be one snowstorm, and that's the one that is coming up beginning tomorrow evening. First alert weather day in the Cascades, actually 1.5 days, let's say, late tomorrow through Wednesday. I think 18 to 24 inches, maybe 18 inches down at Government Camp, a full 2 feet higher up at Ski Bowl Meadows and Timberline. So, of course, you know, the traveling won't be so fun. And the snow is pretty light through the first part of tomorrow. Okay, so here's the forecast. You see the rain coming in. It's very wet in the valleys. You see all the white appearing in the mountains midday and afternoon. All right, so then it turns pretty intense in the evening. 5, 6, 7, that is some solid blue. And then we get to Wednesday morning. It's a little bit quieter, but here comes another surge of snowfall during the daytime Wednesday. Wednesday evening, more snow showers. You see the flow coming in like this. I've always noticed my whole career, if the flow is coming in from the northwest like this direction, that really seems to help Mount Hood. We seem to get pretty big totals then. And it does that all the way through Thursday afternoon. So how much snow? Models are each a little bit different. But we think, again, through early afternoon tomorrow, kind of quiet. 1, 2, 3 inches. Okay, then it dumps maybe a foot by the time we get to Wednesday morning. Then you see this one has almost 2 feet by the time we get to a Friday morning. Other models a little heavier. Ignore the stuff in the valleys. This model has issues. It tries to produce sticking snow at like 37 or 38 degrees. And the snow seems to be heaviest up in the northern Oregon Cascades. But I mentioned one snowstorm. Yeah, by the time we get to Friday, it's warming up quickly. There's very little precipitation here. There might be a little bit of snow on Sunday, but it's just about, that's it, one storm. All right, so down here in the lowlands, turning rainy and breezy tomorrow. Then it'll be wettest. Out of the next 3 days, the wettest is probably tomorrow evening. About 1.5 inches of rain. While the mountains are getting pounded with heavy snow Wednesday and not so much Thursday, we get lots of showers Wednesday and then light showers Thursday. This isn't that stormy really in here. Actually, not at all. 7-day forecast, and beyond that, I think Friday we go dry. We're calling Saturday dry. Likely dry Sunday. Now, some models do have light showers and gray over us Sunday, so don't plan. We may end up changing that to light showers, and then it's back to dry on Monday. So we'll talk about this big picture, why we're seeing such a change there. That's coming up in the bottom half of the hour.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Protests in Iran have swelled into their second straight week.
Human rights groups say that the demonstrations have turned deadly, and it comes as President Trump makes a warning to Iran about that happening.